social studies. Day 1, Monday, here we go. I'm on page 160, Fighting in the South, so join me on page 160. I would really like all of you guys to be open with your book and reading along with me. It will make my life happier. Or, yeah, that would be great. Okay, in the early years of the war, the Americans had won several battles in the South. In 1776, the Patriot forces crushed the Loyalists at the Battle of Morse Creek near Wilmington, in North Carolina. Wilmington. Man, I can't read today. They also saved the key ports of Charlestown, South Carolina, from the British. Although this was a small battle, its impact on the rest of the war was great. By 1778, these results, along with the Patriot victories, such as Saratoga, convinced the British that their old colonies back into the empire would not be easy. As a result, the British came up with a new plan to finish the war. Let's see what the new plan is. Okay, the British plan focused on the South, where there were many loyalists. These are the people that are profiting from all of the taxes in Britain, like the slave owners and the big plantation owners. Okay, the British also hoped to use the sea power and support the loyalists to win important victories in the southern states. First, this strategy worked. In late 1778, British General Henry Clinton sent 3,500 troops from New York State to Savannah, Georgia. The British occupied the coastal city and controlled most of the state. Clinton himself led forces into the South in early 1780. In May, he led the second British attack on Charlestown. This time, South Carolina surrendered, and the British took thousands of prisoners. It marked the worst American defeat of the war. After Clinton's victory, he returned to New York. He left General Charles Cornwallis in command of the British forces in the South. The Continental Congress sent forces under General Horatio Gates to face Cornwallis. The two armies met at Camden, South Carolina. Dun, dun, dun. In August 1780, the British won this first encounter. Yet Cornwallis soon found that he could not control the area he had conquered. He and his troops faced a new kind of warfare. So if you look at that map on the page 161, the red is where the British are moving, and the blue is where the Americans or the Patriots are moving. And then you can see the little explosion marks. They count how many battles each side won. Okay, turning to page 162. Hit and run tactics. The British counted on strong loyalist support in the South. They received less help than expected. Instead of the British forces, as the British forces moved through the countryside, small forces of patriots attacked them. These bands of soldiers appeared suddenly, fired their weapons, and then disappeared. This hit and run technique caught the British off guard. Remember, they're used to fighting on a battlefield where everyone lines up their guys and everyone on this side lines up their guys, and they march towards each other, shooting each other until they hit, and then they start fighting with swords and stuff. So they're not used to being like marching down the road on their horses and boom, attacked, and then where'd they go? And then they don't know who attacked them. So that's where the first hit and run came from. You guys know hit and run from driving, where you hit somebody and then you take off. They actually came up with that term way back in the 1700s. This guy that we're going to talk about next, he's one of the main reasons why in the South the Patriots started to win. Okay, Francis Morrison was a successful Patriot leader. Marion, who was known as the Swamp Fox, operated out of the swamps in South Carolina. He was quick and smart. One British colonel grumbled that the devil himself could not catch Marion. They actually made a whole movie about that guy. Not child appropriate. It's called The Patriot. Okay. Spain's help. Great Britain also found itself with another new enemy. Spain declared war on Britain in 1779. The Spanish governors of Louisiana, Bernardo de Galvez, had a ton of supplies and ammunition shipped to the Mississippi River to American troops in the Northwest Territory. With this help, George Rogers Clark captured the key post of Kaskiskia, remember I can't say that word, and Vincennes. Galvez also raised an army to fight the British. Galvez's forces drove British out of the Gulf of Mexico region. After their victory at Camden, South Carolina, the British moved northward towards through the Carolinas in September 1780. Now remember, they signed the Declaration of Independence in 1776, so we're 4 years past that. They're still fighting. Along the way, the British warned local people to give up their fight for independence and join the British. If they refused, the British threatened to hang their leaders and lay their countries to waste. The Americans who received this warning were mountain people, fiercely independent, and they had been neither patriots nor loyalists until the British warning angered them. So if somebody came into your town, right, and they were like, join us or we'll hang you, you would be like, say what? I'm not going to join you. So it made them mad, and they're used to having nobody tell them what to do because they live up in the mountains. So didn't go well for British. So here we go. They formed a militia army, which means a militia, remember, is the citizens, and they join or create this little army out of the citizens of each town. Okay? And set out to force the British from their land. At Kings Mountain, American militia force killed and captured the British-led loyalist force of about 1,000. This is just tiny little armies that are doing this. The Patriots' victory brought new support for independence from Southerners. In October 1780, Nathaniel Greene replaced Gates as the commander of the Continental forces in the South. Rather than lead one attack on Cornwallis's forces, Greene split up his army into two. In January 1781, one section defeated the British at Cowspen, South Carolina, and another section joined Francis Marion's raids. Greene combined the forces in March, and then he met Cornwallis's army at Gulliford Courthouse in the present-day Greensboro, North Carolina. Greene's army was forced to retreat, but the British sustained great losses in the process. General Cornwallis gave up his campaign to conquer the Carolinas. So, because he split and attacked them different ways, it weakened their army, and then when he joined his army back together and then attacked, they couldn't, they still lost, but they did major damage, to the point where Cornwallis had to be like, okay, well, I guess I can't win down here. Okay, so Cornwallis realized that the British had to act quickly to win the war. More French troops were coming to North Carolina. Remember, the French are coming to help the Americans. And the Patriots held Virginia. The troops and supplies were moving south. In April 1781, Cornwallis marched to Virginia. His troops carried out raids throughout the region. General Washington sent Lafayette and General Anthony Wayne to the south to push Cornwallis back. Meanwhile, Cornwallis took shelter at Yorktown of the Virginia coast. The Battle of the South was entering the final phase. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so no vocabulary words, right? You guys are going to do the questions on page 163, 1 through 5, okay? And that's your assignment for today.